All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, September 17th, 2019, and we are in week 3 of the NFL. We just finished with week 2. Pretty fun week. A lot of big injuries happened. Of course, Big Ben's out for the season with a blown out shoulder, or a blown out elbow, rather. Drew Brees tore some ligaments up in his thumb, so he's going to miss some about 6 games. And and the Jets look pretty abysmal with the losses of C.J. Mosley and Sam Darnold. So let's it's pretty easy pickings going into week 3 for some of these games. Miami looks terrible. They just traded Minka over to the Steelers. So there's a couple easy games this week, I would say, for picks. I'm not going to go much into them. I also have a couple upsets this week, and with upsets, I don't really go into them. But I went 11-5 last week, 12-3-1 the week before. So we're 23-8-1 for the pick'em, which isn't the greatest, but we can improve on that this week. We're gonna hope to do that. Again, let's get started. Week 3 of the NFL. It's time for Week 3 NFL pick'em. So obvious. We got Thursday Night Football as always to begin. This week we kind of have a boring game unless you're a fan of one of these two teams or a big fan of NFL defenses, which based on last year's Super Bowl that everybody bitched about, nobody's a fan of defense. So we have the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are 1-1 off of a 19-17 loss to the Colts. They still can't beat the team even without luck. And the Jaguars are 0-2 off a tough loss to the Houston Texans, 13-12. Normally you go with the home team on a Thursday night, but I don't really know what the situation is with the Jaguars. They have a good defense, but they're probably going to be losing Jalen Ramsey if they don't trade him in the next couple of days, or today, tomorrow, or even Thursday sometime. He won't. I don't think he's going to be playing. It's like a rocky, really weird situation in Jacksonville. And the Titans, they're a pretty cohesive unit. They lost to Indy, a team they just cannot beat. So it's not like that's an indication of how the Titans season's going to go. They just don't beat the Colts. So I think they're not going to look like they did against the Browns, but they'll still win. It's going to be a defensive slugfest. I take the Titans 14-10. The line is Titans are favored by 1.5, and it's an over-under of 40. Let's go ahead and go to the 1 p.m. games where there's quite a few blowouts. And just okay, of course. This game is pretty much no doubt about it. The Broncos are going to be hosted by the Packers. The Broncos are 0-2 after the Bears hit a game-winning field goal on them within the closing seconds. They lost 16-14, and then the Packers are 2-0 off of 2 straight division wins, one against the Vikings, which was last week, 26-16. Packers are favored here by 8 points with an over-under of 43. So I think the Packers are going to win 24-14. They're just a better team. They probably have a better defense. They clearly have a better offense. And until we see something that resembles relevance or life out of the Denver Broncos offense, I can't pick them to win. Flacco is looking worse and worse as the season goes on. Drew Lock can't get healthy enough. If you're a fan of this team, you're going to have an 0-5 or an 0-6 start to your season. It's looking like. Packers win easily. There's not much analyzing that needs to go on in this one, in my opinion. And then this game actually took me a while to think about. The Atlanta Falcons are going to be hosted by the Indianapolis Colts. The Falcons are 1-1 off a 24-20 victory against the Eagles. The Colts are 1-1 after a victory against the Tennessee Titans. The Colts are favored by 2.5 points and with an over-under of 47.5. I don't think they're going to get that. I think it's about 45, but whatever. The Falcons, I think they're going to win this game 24-21, and it's more or less I liked what I seen from the Falcons. They're one of my teams that I think they're going to have a really good year. They finally, after a rough week 1, they seem to have kind of come into their own. They played a little bit better. I think they're going to play a little bit better the next week, and they're just picking up steam and momentum as they go forward. They played a very good Eagles team and played them very, very well. They were ahead most of the game and only had to come back late. Julio or Quintorris Jones just destroyed, and I think that's going to continue. I don't really know how good the Colts corners and secondary is. I know they have got good linebackers and a pretty good defensive line, but I think that secondary is going to be a little suspect. I mean, Colts fans might jump me, but fuck them. I don't like the Colts anyway. And with that defensive line of the fucking Atlanta Falcons, just destroyed one of the best, if not the best rated offensive line in the NFL. Wentz was running for his life. So I can only imagine that Jacoby Brissett's going to have a hell of an afternoon dealing with that defensive front. And I'm going to lean on 24-21 Falcons lead based on momentum. I know the Colts have some, but I don't know. I just feel like this Falcons team is looking really complete right now after that Eagles win. So I don't know. This one is also going to be a game I have to explain now because I have the Baltimore Ravens who are being hosted by the Kansas City Chiefs. The line is Chiefs are favored by 6.5, way too much, and the over/under is 55, about right. The Ravens are 2-0 after a 23-17 win over the Cardinals, and the Kansas City Chiefs are 2-0. That should say 2-0. Sorry about that. 2-0 after a 28-10 victory against the Raiders. So sorry, I don't even know why that says 1, but it's not that big of a deal. But this game, I feel like I know the Kansas City's finally going to be home, and they're not traveling from to Jacksonville to Oakland and then to Baltimore, so there's a lot less miles on the tires, but that's a lot of traveling within the first 3 weeks. They have those injuries. They don't have Tyreek Hill, and I know they looked fine, but let's really be honest here. They only scored 4 touchdowns. I haven't seen the Chiefs not score 30 in a very long time, so that's kind of a symptom that their offense isn't exactly up to full speed due to the injuries. Mahomes got bad ankles. There's some miles on the body for these guys. And the Ravens, I think, they almost beat them last year, the Ravens did. They were a 4th down throw away from beating them, but, obviously Lamar wasn't the greatest thrower last year. I think the Ravens have a very good defense again this year. I think they have a very good offense. The Chiefs obviously don't have anything to do with offense or defense anyway. So we'll see the Ravens put up some points. Hollywood Brown is going to be very, very fun to watch against this secondary that the Chiefs feature. And for that reason, I think the Ravens are going to be capable to make a stop before the Chiefs are, and I think the Chiefs are going to make more mistakes than I think the Ravens will. So because I think the Ravens will make a stop where the Chiefs won't, and because I think the Ravens will play a lot more mistake-free football than the Chiefs, because of Mahomes does have a history in these kind of games where they're like big marquee kind of matchups. Because I would consider the Ravens a pretty big matchup. He loses a lot. He's lost some of those games, so. I'm going to take the Ravens with the banged-up Chiefs team with a lot of miles, even though they're at home. I like the Ravens winning this one 38-35. I'm sure this will get me a lot of shit. Not many people are going to agree, but go Ravens. This game, there's not much to talk about. The Cincinnati Bengals are 0-2 after a 41-17 ass beating by the 49ers. The Buffalo Bills are 2-0, shockingly, after a 28-14 win against the Giants. The Bills are 6-point favorites, 2 straight weeks of being favorites with a 43.5 point over/under. I don't think anything good is going to happen for the Bengals in this game. Like, they looked all right against the Seahawks until the Seahawks actually started playing football. And then the Bills, they've looked really good in their first 2 games. Sure, it's against the Jets and the Giants, but, I mean, these are the Bengals, so it's like, yeah, okay. They're just going to dominate these teams with that really good defense they've got. Bills win this one pretty handily. Not much really to talk about here. Sorry, Bengals fans, but you guys desperately need A.J. Green back. Because the 49ers defense, which is nowhere near as good as the Bills defense, just manhandled you. The Bills are going to do way worse than what the 49ers did. Just be ready for that. 2010, Bills win. Sunday 1 p.m. games continued. We got 4 more at 1 o'clock. This game, there's not much to talk about. The Jets are heading into New England to get slaughtered, much like the Dolphins and much like the Steelers. I actually don't have the Jets scoring any points in this game. I'm not going to really go into it. The Jets are 0-2, after a 23-3 Monday Night Football loss. That was embarrassing. And the Patriots are 2-0 after a 43-0 victory. They've actually outscored their opponent 76-3 this year. The Patriots are 18-point favorites, 47 over/under. So basically, can the Patriots score like 47 points? Who knows? Patriots should win this one very, very, very handily. Not much really to talk about with this one. Really, there isn't. I'm sorry, but here's my upset of the week. With the upsets, as I've said in the past, I don't have to tell you why I think this is going to happen. With the way the Lions played the Chargers last week, very underrated football team. I think with the Eagles having this weird injury bug going on at receiver, I think with the just weird shit going on with all this Eagles stuff, like a bunch of weird injuries were happening. They can't seem to get in any kind of consistent rhythm. I think with the defense that just did that to the Chargers, the Lions can kind of get in there and play disruptive and make it so the Eagles don't ever really get anything going again in this game. And, yeah, I see the Lions pulling off a crazy upset. The Lions are 1-0-1 after an upset against the Chargers. And the Eagles are 1-1 after a 24-20 game, they gave up a game-winning touchdown basically, and then did nothing to end the game. Eagles are 7-point favorites with an over/under of 48. I like the Lions upsetting the Eagles. This is pretty much a no-brainer when you really think about it. Oakland is heading to Minnesota to play the Vikings. I think this starts their very, very long road trip that they're going to be going on. The Raiders are 1-1 after a 28-10 loss to the Chiefs. No real surprise there. And the Vikings are 1-1 after their offense looked anemic against the Packers, especially Kirk Cousins. 26-16 loss. Again, Vikings are 7.5-point favorites with an over/under of 42.5. So, and I'm fairly confident the Vikings win this game. They're at home. They're going to want to avenge the way they played last time. The Raiders aren't a good team. They're not a team that's 500, so Kirk should have a great afternoon. Because, Kirk can't beat teams over 500. Kirk can't beat any team that looks decent. So, the Raiders, they can beat. This is a 1 o'clock game in Minnesota against a team that didn't make the playoffs last year, that isn't above 500. You got this, Minnesota fans. You're about to see maybe a perfect passer rating game out of Kirk Cousins this weekend. Just wait and see. Just wait and see, because, sorry, but the Vikings are going to win, but it's just a matter of by how much. So, in this game, I have nothing to say about this. A 21-point line for the Cowboys, who are hosting the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 0-2, and the Cowboys are 2-0 after a 31-21 win against the Redskins. Cowboys are 21-point favorites with an over/under of 47.5. I say the Cowboys win this game quite handily. No more Minka on the Dolphins. I'd imagine maybe even Xavier Howard's going to be traded at some point. So, yeah, Cowboys win by how much, nobody knows. It's much like the Patriots playing the Jets, and it's just a couple of really silly games this weekend where you're just like, well, of course that team's going to win. And here's two of them in the 1 o'clock slot. So, obviously, Dallas wins big. All right, those are the 1 o'clock games if you want me to go back, and there they are. And, yeah, so hopefully we do a perfect 8-0 sweep at 1 o'clock. I think we did that. No, we got 2 wrong last week. So, this is a game that's kind of a no doubt about it. Maybe because it is going to be Daniel Jones' NFL debut. That's right. Eli Manning has been benched. And the offense is now going to feature Daniel Jones for at least this game. He's the starter heading into it. So, congrats to Daniel Jones. Let's see how he does as the team starter. He gets to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home, who have a smothering defense this year. They've played very, very well. That defense has. The offense has been bad, but their defense looks really good. Very hard defense to get right away. They're going to be at home. The Bucs are 1-1, basically off the strength of their defense, how they played against Cam, and they held it very close against the 49ers. So the Giants are 0-2. They just lost 28-14 to the Bills. I just don't trust that Giants defense, and I don't really trust a rookie quarterback against that defense that the Bucs have. Go look at that defense. They're pretty goddamn nasty. Bucs are favored by 6.5 with an over/under of 48, and I like them winning about 17-10. I think the Bucs have a very underrated, strong defense this year. So, this is my other upset, actually. Believe it or not, it's uncertain whether Cam's going to play due to his foot injury that's been lingering that I've known about since the Patriots hurt him. So, the Panthers are 0-2 after a 2014 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Cardinals are 0-1 after a 23-17 loss to the Ravens, where they looked really good. Had they not been playing the Ravens, they might have pulled a win off there. And that's pretty much, they're going to be at home versus a team that's banged up. Don't know if Cam's playing. Don't know if it's Will Grier or whoever the hell else they've got. The Panthers are favored by 2.5 with an over/under of 46.5. With Cam being out, I'd imagine that line's going to start sneaking back a little bit. So, I don't know. I like the Cardinals to go ahead and win this game against a banged-up team, against a team that's not playing good whatsoever. There's just no cohesion on that Panthers unit, and the Cardinals look halfway decent against the Ravens. If we're being totally honest, they looked pretty good. So I imagine this is another one upset pick. 24-17, Cardinals beat the Panthers. And then this game, This game, I almost think this is a no doubt about it. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be hosted by the San Francisco 49ers, who beat a team. They're 2-0 after a 43-17 victory against the Bengals, a victory in which their defense won the game for them. Basically, they didn't even need to play offense, and they won that game. The Steelers are 0-2. They just lost Big Ben to an elbow injury. They're going to go with Mason Rudolph. They just got Minkah Fitzpatrick, so that adds a little bit of intrigue to this matchup. 28-26 to the Seahawks they lost, but... and the 49ers are 7-point favorites, 44.5. And I happen to agree. I think the Steelers are going to go ahead and lose this game, and the 49ers win 27-14 roughly. And I say that because I think the 49ers are a very complete team, very strong defense. Offense is getting better and better each game, and that's what you typically see with a guy coming back from injury, a bunch of guys coming back from injury, if we're being honest. And, they're just looking better and better each week. And I think this is going to be one of those big wins against a really good historical team that a young team needs. And I just don't know how good Mason Rudolph's going to do in this start. This is a very weird situation for the guy. So let's see how he does. I'm not going to pick him until he wins. I kind of have a weird thing with certain players. So give me the Niners 27-14. Let's see. We got the Chargers playing host to the Houston Texans. Both teams are 1-1. Both of them, the Chargers are coming off a 13-10 upset when they got beat by the Lions, and the Texans are 1-1 with a 13-12 victory against the Jaguars. The Chargers are 3-point favorites with an over/under of 48. I don't really have a lot to say about this game because honestly, I don't really care about it. I don't care. I don't care about either one of these teams. I don't think either team is going to be in the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, they're just going to be first-round exits as always. Who cares about the Texans and the Los Angeles Chargers? Two of the most irrelevant, disliked teams in their own states are now playing each other. Hilarious. Nobody cares about this game unless you literally root for the Texans or the Chargers. But I don't care who wins next game. The Seattle Seahawks are playing host to the New Orleans Saints, and this would have been a fun game if Drew Brees didn't get his thumb torn. And now we get Teddy Bridgewater, who's not Drew Brees, so I don't think this is going to be very competitive whatsoever. We have this, the Seahawks are 2-0 after a 28-26 win against the Steelers, and the Saints are 1-1. They got the shit kicked out of them by the Rams, 27-9. The Seahawks are 4.5-point favorites, over under a 44.5. I think Seahawks will win this game pretty handily. Very good defense. That might be a little bit much for Bridgewater. If he couldn't handle the Rams' mighty defense, he stands no shot against the Seahawks team that's a little better. I also just don't buy the Saints without Drew Brees. So sorry guys, I would have gave more analysis, but it's one of those things where you're like, I don't care about this Houston Texans, and this game would have been better with Brees versus Wilson, but Wilson's going to win this one, 27-20. 2 games left. We have Sunday Night Football. We have the Los Angeles Rams heading into Cleveland, another big marquee matchup for the Browns, who have 5 this year. The Rams are 2-0 after a 27-9 destruction of the Saints. They ended Drew Brees' thumb for about 6 games. And the Browns are 1-1 after beating the Jets 23-3. The Rams are going to win, I think, 31-20. They're 2.5-point favorites with an over/under of 51. Just the Rams look like a way better team than the Browns. The Browns didn't even play that good of a game yesterday. They had 9 penalties again, or 8 or something. It was a crazy amount of another crazy amount of penalties. They beat a really bad team and they struggled to do it. Baker was running for his life the entire game. So against a much better Rams defense than the Jets defense, it's just going to be a nightmare for Baker. Aaron Donald still plays there. I believe they have another very good pass rusher whose name escapes me right now. The Rams are going to dominate this game probably. I feel bad for Cleveland that they have to play so many good teams right to start their season. But, this is what you get. I like the Rams winning this one, 31-20. They're just a better team, a better built version of what Cleveland wants to be. And until Cleveland starts cleaning up some of those stupid offsides penalties by Myles Garrett, 2 fucking quarterback roughings by Garrett. Come on, dude, you guys got to clean that stuff up. That's the reason the Chiefs didn't get to go to the Super Bowl, lining up offsides. You can't be doing that. That's Andy Reid level coaching. Andy Reid level in the playoffs coaching with under 2 minutes left. That's the kind of coaching Cleveland's showing right now, and you don't want to be that. You don't want to be doing that shit. So, give me the Rams again, 31-20. We'll see. Monday Night Football. What a horrible fucking matchup. We have the Chicago Bears taking on the Washington Redskins. The Bears are 1-1 after a 16-14 thrilling win by kicking a game-winning field goal. They threw a bomb on 4th down to set up the field goal. It was a crazy ending. And the Redskins are 0-2. Sad season going on. They lost to the Cowboys 31-21. Bears are 4-point favorites on the road. 41.5 point over-under. I think this is going to be a defensive slobber knocker, not because the Redskins have a good defense. It's just the Bears look exactly like the 2000 Ravens, and I think that's who they're trying to be like. So they're going to just struggle bus every win to like 14-10 decisions and shit like that on their quest to hold teams to under 161. So I don't know. Give me the Bears over the Redskins. Just they're a better team. Their defense is going to be too much for the Redskins. We've seen them do it to 2 teams this year. The Redskins will be team number 3. And they'll manage like 14 a game. That's what the Bears are capable of. We'll see. Bears beat the Redskins on Monday night. I probably won't watch this. I don't even know how this got to be a game. Schedule makers, dude. All right, and then for our NFL Pick'em record for 2019, we went, of course, 12-3-1 to start the year, 11-5 last week for a 23-8-1 overall record. So not so bad, not so good. Hopefully this week we win another 12, and we kind of get that number, looking smaller and smaller, larger and larger, and the wins stay under 10. Maybe 14-2 this week. Who knows? But I don't know. What do you think of the picks? Let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for the almost 20,000 views last week. That fucking blew my mind. I can't believe we got that many people that were watching. We're at 2,400 subscribers basically. So thank you guys very much. We're growing pretty quick. Thank you guys again. Yeah, that's awesome. All the comments, I've replied to all of them. So go check that out. I'm keeping track of the best I can. Everybody's records. There's just a lot there. So let me know your picks down below. I comment back to just about every comment. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And, yeah, go Patriots. That's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And, yeah. I love the NFL. I'm so glad it's back. Go Patriots.